Thing one tonight, as we all know, we have a president who just says stuff, and we've all become accustomed to it, but it's still remarkable to watch how the White House has to go into scramble mode every single time that Trump just makes something up. Monday morning, he tweeted that, quote, criminals and unknown Middle Easterners, oh no, are mixed in with the migrant caravan traveling through Central America. He's just making that up to scare everyone, but Mike Pence got the duty of having to explain how it must be true because, you know, statistics.
It's inconceivable that there are not people of Middle Eastern descent in a crowd of more than 7,000 people advancing toward our border.
Middle Eastern descent? Inconceivable. There aren't. Wait, what? Trump makes something up, Pence goes out to make it true. The same thing is happening with the new pretend tax cut the president has pulled out of nowhere. Washington Post reported that neither officials on Capitol Hill nor his administration knew anything about it because it didn't exist. When Trump told reporters over the weekend that middle-income Americans would receive a 10% tax cut before the midterms, which is, of course, not even possible because Congress is in recess until after the election. So then the White House sent Larry Kudlow out to the driveway to make sure nobody thinks the president is a pathological liar who just makes things up.
We're working on it. That's doable. We're just working through it. We're working on it. President Trump, promises made, promises kept. We're working through the ways and means as you have to do in these things, okay?
Yeah, you got to work through it. We're working on it. Promises made, promises kept. Now, there was one Trump lie this week that could not be explained away, but it meant the FBI had to go looking for pictures of two men hugging. And that's thing two in 60 seconds. Last month, in an interview with a right-wing website called Daily Caller, Donald Trump made an extraordinary claim, a claim that, if true, could shake the very foundations of the Russia probe. Special counsel Robert Mueller is totally conflicted, Trump said. He's best friends with former FBI Director James Comey, Trump said. Oh, but it's worse than that. And I quote him here. I could give you 100 pictures of him and Comey hugging and kissing each other. 100 pictures of them hugging and kissing. Okay. That sure sounds scandalous, strange. Daily Caller just printed the claim without question because that's what the Daily Caller is there for. But lucky for us, a reporter at BuzzFeed named Jason Leopold practiced some actual journalism. And Leopold made a Freedom of Information Act request with the FBI. His request, please send the 100 pictures of Comey and Mueller hugging and kissing. Thank you. A month went by. Now the FBI has responded, brace yourselves, quote, we were unable to locate records responsive to your request. Therefore, your request is being administratively closed. Perhaps that was a whole lot of trouble just to confirm that Trump just makes up stuff, but James Comey was pleased. Quote, my wife is so relieved. Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.